Okay, good day, everyone. My name is Dolly Mafa. I'm from City of Tshwane. I'm from the unit called City Sustainability Unit, which is an advisory unit within the city in the Office of the Mayor. But our responsibility is to assist the city to become catalytic in transitioning towards a low carbon development. So, and I'm giving this background so that you relate to my presentation and you'll understand the partnership that you are having with NCPC, because they are actually assisting in sending the message that you delay your resources or your products before they go to our landfill site, because it affects us as a city. In short. But also, the reason, I'm sure we are one of the few cities that have decided to drive in this route of transition towards a low carbon or resource efficient kind of a development, because it has to start somewhere. One has to provide a responsible leadership. And we believe that if me and you or our organizations start in the road, will assist the country to a greater extent. We have done our greenhouse gas emission inventory. We know the key sectors that we have to focus on, which is transport, energy, and waste, because they are emitting more carbon emissions. And we therefore call upon yourself to join us in this route, because it's a very lonely route. You have to be conscious in driving in this, because you are kind of strategically positioning yourself to say, I'm going to change the way I'm doing business. And I'm making this kind of a disclaimer because usually this presentation we are just indicating to say, as a city, we are starting to think of having partnership with organizations that are procuring responsibly. We have identified procurement as one of the tools to assist us to transition towards the circular economy that you are talking about for a reason, and you'll understand. So I'm going to share with you how we are intending to drive the sustainable procurement. It is seen as a complex kind of program, but for us, we are saying it's doable. It does not require anything. It just requires us to change the way we are procuring items. I'm giving the background to say we have decided to become part of circular economy program because it is the only way, procurement is the only way to accelerate the transition. We could have thought of any other program, maybe reporting or something else, but we have identified procurement because it will expedite the process, and it will create new demand for resource efficiency. It will prolong the value of the product within the supply chain market. Why? Because we are responsible for the landfill sites. I'm sure you are aware. And immediately when you dump all the products to the landfill site, then it requires resources from us to make sure that we do it in a responsible, the landfilling in a responsible manner. So that is why we are saying circular economy for us is a way to go. It will introduce a systematic multi-level change. So it changes the way we're doing, we're getting technology, business model, stakeholder collaboration, the way we engage with our suppliers and even with yourself. It will not be the same. Of course, it's part of closing the loop, they've already indicated, but there was more emphasis about the issue of collaborative partnership. As a city, we're open to that element, especially on the program of sustainable procurement or sustainability as a whole, because we have realized that it's not about allocating financial resources in that. It's about partnering and leveraging on whatever that you are having. Sustainable procurement, we are saying, as we procure our services and items, gone are the days where you only consider price or the economic aspect. We are saying triple bottom line. Consider the aspect holistically simultaneously, as you have to check as to what are the economic aspect, what are the social aspect, what are the environmental aspect of this product that you are buying or of this service that you want to get. And we believe that if you do this, of course, our development will actually lead to us to a low carbon development. But if you still consider economic aspect only, which I don't have a problem with, but I'm saying it is not taking us far. So if you are futuristic or visionary, then this is the way. Why we are in this drive and why we are emphasizing it, because it's the only tool or the practical tool to mainstream sustainability and to ensure that our procurement choices yield those triple bottom line benefits, kind of assist the city to embrace sustainable development. There was an indication of our NDP that there is a dedicated chapter about what role we have to do in terms of our climate change agenda. It drives the local innovation. We have to kind of encourage the innovation with secure environmental friendly approaches. It creates an enabling environment. If we don't lead as a city, where else will our SMMEs try to bring their innovation? Where else are they going to pilot them? It also stimulates circular economy, like I've already indicated. I give the background to say that, and I was indicating to say, as a city sustainability unit within the city, we are responsible for driving climate change agenda. We have identified sustainable procurement as one of our instruments, and we are driving this program together with our supply chain management team. We are saying we are coordinating, they are championing the program, because what we see in the future is that our supply chain will no longer be just ordinary supply chain. It will be sustainable supply chain. We have established a team that is assisting the city to roll out the program. We kind of undertake a policy review slowly, but we are sure that it's going to take us somewhere. And we believe as a city, as we are doing this, also industry can follow, business can follow, and they can follow the same, or they can do better than we are doing. We're integrating sustainability into our technical specification. It is not easy, and that is where we partner with NCPC through the assistance from Lee to make sure that as we do that integration, it becomes impactful. The intensive stakeholder engagement, I was saying that this presentation is what we use when we engage stakeholders, because we're trying to prepare the ground so that everyone out there knows that the city is intending to drive into this route. We have initiated a comprehensive training and awareness of different formats depending on the need of a stakeholder. The question is it legislated and whatever? This is what we get from everywhere. It does not matter. It is about what responsible leadership have already, and responsible procurement. Do you need someone to write it in legislation to say sustainable procurement? Or it is something that has to come naturally? But anyway, just to certify and try to answer that question, we try to come up with pieces of legislation. Our country has done so much about making sure that all the balances, all the areas, all the aspects that I've indicated, environmental, social, economic, are hidden somewhere. You may not find sustainable procurement or green procurement legislation per se, but we chose to select within the legislation what will cover what we are talking about, and this is what we have seen there. We are saying within the Constitution, Section 217, it indicates about the issue of being those 5 pillars, which is saying do it fairly, equitable, and the likes. Sustainable procurement does not do away with them. You have to procure the services fairly and the likes. But also, we say it leaves the scope for procuring entity to incorporate environmental consideration. You can still use it as a basis for that. There are also categories of preferences which are allocated. It gives a room around the categories of preferences. And we are saying one of those categories, we are including sustainable procurement, because it kind of promotes sustainable procurement or innovation, if you may say it. They may have not said it that way, but we are saying, but this could be the basis. In PPP FA and regulation, there is a section 2(1)D which says the goal that may be pursued. The fact that there is may be, it means that it is in broader term and is not restrictive. So one of the goals can be green procurement, and we believe we are still in there. Also section 2(1)F is saying the highest scoring bidder vis-a-vis functional or objective criteria. When you pursue sustainable procurement, it's about the functional or objective criteria. We are saying we want to transition towards the circular economy. So our specification or the technical specification as we know them, it has to be very objective of what we want to achieve, not just to say they have to be too technical. So also section 5.1 is also giving the minister to consider some of the aspects, and we believe that sustainable procurement can also be included in that. So I tried to hint a bit of what I think could be the basis in MFMA, which governs us as a local government regulation. It indicates, actually, it gives an allowance of functional specification, not necessarily technical specification. If you understand, once it's functional or objective, it means it can be related to what you want to achieve. We've undergone that route. I've tried to indicate as a city where we are coming from. We're reviewing our supply chain policy now is having a sustainability element because we are trying to convert it into green, if I may say it. We already have, in 2017, we have developed what you call sustainable procurement strategy. It's not a must. We need not do it, but we had to do it because we do not want to drastically change our policy per se. We want to slowly move in and phase in by coming up with a strategy, which we believe after 5 years it will be kind of aligned with the supply chain policy. Of course, our route is, they spoke about the Paris 2020 and the likes. Yes, we are in that route, but we are driving towards the low carbon or circular economy already. Currently, it's just a process that we are driving. We are just making an awareness. These are the things that we have already undertaken as a city in relation to sustainable procurement. We have done the status quo assessment of the market. Do we have products that can be sold? There's suppliers. Is everyone willing in that? So we show the market readiness analysis. We have developed the strategy. We're trying to implement, to roll out the strategy. Training and awareness is in a slower pace, but it is something that we know we have to do it intensively with the intention of integrating and mainstreaming sustainability as a whole. The strategy incorporates all those elements on which you'll find the situational analysis, the approaches, how are we going to do it, the standards that are available, the whole life cycle costing analysis vis-a-vis just considering the price, low-hanging fruits we have identified, and then there is also the guideline of the specification that has to be undertaken. This is just a reflection of how far we went, and we believe that every organization can drive to this far. It does not require a lot of resources or any drastic, it just requires a passionate and responsible leader, or even us as officials, just to drive it passionately. Why are we worried as a city? Why can't we live it? Why can't we relax? It is because we are responsible for service delivery. Water, electricity, municipal health services, waste management. If we don't drive towards circular economy, these services will be affected. And that is why we are aligning it to all those things. So as we procure goods and services, it somehow directly or indirectly affects this kind of services that we claim to be providing to our communities. So we have to be worried. And I just make an emphasis of all the areas in which will be affected or we will benefit as a city. Waste will be minimized, energy efficiency, and the likes. I'm rushing through, but I hope you get the message. I've indicated that according to our greenhouse gas emission inventory, we have 3 sectors that we have to focus on. But within the city, we have identified these 5 sector. We call it program, but they are based on our unit within the city, which we believe that it is because there are some low-hanging fruits which you can get from transport and fleet, because we are saying we can diversify the fuel mix in here. The waste management, they have emphasized it in all the aspects, the energy and electricity. ICT is about how we use our technology. Property and facilities, we are in the green building program. I'm sure most of you are aware. This is one part that we are trying to drive. We are trying to say, we're a member of Green Building Council of South Africa for a reason. We're trying to say all the building facilities or property facility owned by the city, we have to strive towards achieving the 3-star kind of, the 3-star kind of. But on our side, we believe that once we have green building, it then speaks to our waste management energy indirectly. That is why we have now also put in building as one of our aspects. Life cycle costing analysis, I'm sure from the background that we are talking about, and we chose procurement for a reason, because being from the city, previously or most of the time when we procure services and product, it was about the price. How much has it got? Is it cheap or whatever? Then we go there. So this is one aspect on which we want to improve on, because we have to realize that there are some other costs absorbed in there. And this is one area in which we have partnered with NCPC, and they have been instrumental. What they have been indicating to say they are available for assistance, this is what they did for City of Tshwane. I tried to come up with demonstration project which the city has undertaken. I will brush through them, but we tried to become, I've emphasized, there was an emphasis of the importance of being in a collaborative partnership. As a city, we are a member of Global Lead Cities Network. These are the cities globally that have organized themselves. There are 11 in number which are saying we want to pursue sustainable procurement. To be a member of this city, there are a lot that, this network, there are a lot that they have to do. They don't just agree to everyone to become a member. So for us, I'm sure we are the only African country that we are in this thing. It was too much for us, but we had to hang ourselves there because we have to become a leader. As a capital city, sometimes you have to pioneer most of the processes. We are in most of the networks because we believe that being in a circular economy program, you cannot do it alone. We have procured, as a demonstration, electric vehicles. I know also CSIR has done that, but it was one of the demonstrations to say that you can diversify your fuel mix. We have a huge number of fleets, even the CNG buses, and then also the electric charging facilities that you are having. I'm not sure if everyone knows about our Tshwane House. This is our head office, which is a green building on which we pride ourselves with. It was not an easy road to arrive to that. Okay, the integration of sustainable procurement supply chain, we have started the process like I've already indicated. Last year we had a program that we called Tshwane Green Pitch, on which we were trying to enhance the partnership with the SMMEs and trying to give them the platform on that. On all of this, these are the interventions that we believe they are part of the sustainable procurement. And we're still, last week, 2 weeks back, we were launching one of our building to demonstrate that we can use the solar photovoltaic energy using our building without using the ordinary energy. So those are various aspects that we are doing. I've indicated that we are a member of Global Lead Cities Network because we want to accelerate the implementation of sustainable procurement. And we have to provide leadership, like I've already indicated, to showcase that we are very much committed to drive the transition. And these are the cities that are committed to set quantified targets. We are required to show that we are in partnership with industry, with everyone. 2 months back, we were in this building where we were trying to check to say locally which cities are in sustainable procurement. Can we establish a network locally, nationally? So these are, we have, We have established this kind of a network with the assistance from Italy, and these are the cities that we are trying to do something on green procurement because we believe this is a tool which can do. We call it the African Sustainable Procurement Network. We are not yet there. We need partners, and it is open also for private sector that are interested. This is where we're trying to share knowledge, to encourage each other to walk into this route. I'm trying to illustrate the benefit. This is what we are, when we do the EXCO presentation, mayoral committee presentation, to show them, to say, these are the benefits that you'll get for undertaking the sustainable procurement route. Low-hanging fruit, paperless administration, we're trying to make the city to go into that. I was very much impressed about this conference on which everything, they try to limit paper, and this is part of the concept that we are driving. Event greening, I'm sure they are also in there, and then also the diversification of energy mix I've also indicated. These are the actions which when we present to executive committee, which we request them to support, to say include sustainability criteria into your key technical specification, identify programs or projects which could illustrate that, procure consciously. And we are always saying, as a sustainability unit, we are available to give support to the city's department that are doing the procurement, and also promote environmental legal compliance. It is a lot of action that you can do, and if you look into this action, it does not require you to move an inch. It's just to change the way you do operation. We have come up with how the city can face in sustainable procurement. These are the activities which are done in there. Initial, most of them, they are voluntary implementation for the next coming 3 years. But the third year, we are saying it has to be mandatory for the suppliers to comply to ISO 14001 or 24001. I'm sure this is the standard for sustainable procurement. It also has to be mandatory for the suppliers to undertake development program on environmental management system. For the first 2 years, it is voluntary. So it means after 2 or 3 years, as a city, you'll see it in our tender advert to say, we need this kind of a system, for example. Oh, this is the end. Thank you very much.